Hey everybody, welcome to another Function Fridays brought to you by www.qtptutorial.net. I am feeling fantastic today. I wanted to thank everybody for being here. For anybody that's new and joining us here today, let me tell you the beauty of Function Fridays. We take our extensive experience in QTP and automation, we combine that to create extremely useful and global functions for you guys that you can use for the rest of your automation careers. As a result, we teach you very important skills and we decrease your coding time so that you guys can be more expert at your automation careers and you don't have to worry about making all of the mistakes that we made as we were learning and growing up as automation engineers. So, you guys may have missed us last week. We did not deliver a function, but we did deliver, I think, something a lot better, which was part 2 of the Intro to Automation Frameworks. I'm sure you guys were not disappointed. And even if you were, let me know, because then I'll make sure that we don't replace any more Function Fridays with framework. We can just release those on different days. So anyways, let's get started. Today, we have a very special edition of Function Fridays. I decided to do something unique because we had some new recent events that occurred. We had 2 individuals request something special from our other Function Fridays videos, and I decided to combine those 2 requests in one Function Fridays and fulfill them both here today for them. We have George, who asked about one function that we did, which was get random letters, and he asked to see a real-life user scenario of this function. And I thought that was a wonderful request, and so we will make that happen today. You guys can see this here. Here, George requested to see how this could be used in the practical world. George, I hope you don't mind me calling you out, but I'll make this happen today. Also, we had Farouk, who had another awesome request. He requested a function that would be like a verification point. If something happened, this function would report a failure. And this guy obviously knows what he's doing because this is a very common function in automation. And we can see he made his request here. And Farouk, don't worry, I will show you that function today. We'll make your requests happen. And as a result of these 2 requests, I decided to put it all into one video, into one automation scenario that we can use for our learning purposes. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh man, and one other thing I forgot to mention. Last week, I installed UFT version 11.5, and I actually have never used it either. This is my first beginning with it, just getting familiar with UFT, and from my initial feelings, it's really awesome. So you guys will get to see a little bit of my interaction with it today. You guys will get to see how different it is from the QTP versions that we had before. They changed a lot, and so far I'm liking it. And don't worry, in the future, I will make videos about UFT and all the new features and how to use it because it's quite different from what QTP used to be. So, first thing I want to do is create that function. And I already pre-created it because we have a lot to go through today. And so I wanted to pre-create the function, describe to you guys what it does, and then I will show you its usage. So this function is going to be called StepFail. In fact, let me add it to my spreadsheet. And let's go through it step by step. This function is really excellent because what it's going to do is anytime you call this function, you give it a description of the step, whatever happened, and the location where you want to put a screenshot. And I'll explain both of those parameters and why they're there. So, the first thing it does is many of you should be familiar with this. It's a reporter.report event method. it reports into QTP that a step has failed. It will report the step name that you passed, and then it will place that into the run results. Next step I do here is I create an image name. And the way this image string is going to come out is going to be something like this. It's going to have a fail underscore, whatever you decided to call the step. Here, we are going to replace any spaces with no string, so there should be no spaces in between your words. And we're going to add a .png at the end. So overall, the image would look like this. Fail, stepname.png. Okay? Now, this next step is I'm going to call onErrorResumeNext. What it allows to do is if an error occurs, then QTP will continue and will not throw an error. Okay? This statement right here, after this, anything that goes wrong here, QTP will not stop. It's a very important thing to learn. It's like a try-catch block in Java, except a little bit different and a little bit less useful. So, next part I do right here. If the path where you want to save your file has a backslash at the end, then we're going to capture an image of the browser page and store it in this location. Okay? Because sometimes, guys, you will not know whether the user is going to pass a storage path with a backslash or without. So we create an amazing function that's designed to handle any kind of interesting scenario that may pop up. So here, otherwise, we will add that backslash if it does not contain it. Here, we will print, very important to keep track of print logs. We're going to print the step name, and then we're going to print the time and date of the failure. And finally, the StepFail is going to pass back a result of fail. I'll show you guys where I'm getting this from. This is another very unique concept that I'm going to introduce to you here today. And then we just close off with this statement here, which negates this statement up here. So now it will allow errors to proceed from this point forward. So if I wrote any more statements here, if QTP happened to catch an error, then it would throw up that message box that will say, hey, error, blah, blah, blah. Okay? So that's the StepFail function. Now, it has two preconditions, because when we are creating functions, we assume that we are making global functions that will be stored in a single function library. And as a result, we can save ourselves a lot of time and trouble by creating a function library in such a manner that it will be extremely efficient. So let me show you what I mean. This over here, a lot of you guys may not know exactly what it is. But where it's coming from is actually from my function library. So check it out, browser page. Up here, you can see I have declared browser page as a browser page object. I made it global to the entire function library. So if I put any functions in here, they can use this object in all the functions because it's global to the scope. So now I never have to recreate this object again. Browser page will always be this description. Okay? And same thing with this right here. An F, for me, means this string, fail. And that's just because it's not so hard to write out fail, but when you have to do it a million times in your automation career, it becomes much easier to store it in a single letter. And if you ever decide to make this something else, you can easily change it just by modifying one value here, and it will be reflected anywhere you use the F. Okay? So now that's the function. We will get to see its usage as we run through our next scenario that I designed specifically for George. All right, George, so pay attention. Now we got our automation scenario. For everybody that just forgot what we're talking about now, I am going to cover George's request to use this function, getRandomLetters, in a real life scenario and why it would be useful. So, our automation scenario is we have manual testers that need to log into an application and be able to test that application. This is done hundreds of times, and the testers need hundreds of new registered users. Our automation goal is to generate all the user data for the project. Now, do you see how useful this is? We will pre-create hundreds, maybe thousands of usernames and passwords for the entire testing team so that whenever they need a newly registered user, they can go in and utilize one of those users. They don't have to create it, because for a manual tester, it may take them 5 minutes per account to create. And when it takes you 1 minute to create, you're saving the entire team that much more time. That's the scenario here. Hope it's clear. So we got our application URL. Let me open it. Here's our application, guys. Okay, so step one is to click. I'm going to do this manually because for our purposes, I'm not automating a test case. I am conveying the usage of the function that George requested. So I'm going to click that. Next step would be for me to enter a username, a password, confirm that password, fill in the rest of the stuff, which I'm not going to do, and then click register. Now imagine, guys, if I did this through automation. After this, I would close everything, open the application again, do this process again for a new user, and do this over and over for, let's say, 50 times. I'm going to create 50 different users and passwords, okay, so that manual testers or anybody on our team can utilize it for whatever purposes they desire. And the only steps that I'm going to do with automation is to convey the usage of the function. So I'm just going to fill in these 3 fields, and that's it. So take a look. I wrote down these test steps here that you would have done with your entire script, but I'm just going to do a few steps just to convey the purposes. So I created a loop that's going to run from 1 to 50 times and create me 50 different user IDs. Here, I store it in a variable called str username, where I use this function that's going to generate me a random string every single time. So that means a random username. Now, of course, there may come an instance where I get the exact same username as before. I don't know how to calculate those odds, but I can tell you it's pretty small because it means that 15 letters have to be generated exactly the same in a row for that to happen. So I will tell you that this will probably never happen even in your entire lifetime. Then I have a password. I'm going to go into the application. I'm going to set that username, set the password, confirm the password. And then over here, I created a simple usage for our function of StepFail. So if the username contains the letter A, then the function will fail. But don't worry about why I did this, guys. I just wanted to create a random instance to use this StepFail function, just so you guys can see how it works. Otherwise, we will pass the step, and we will record everything here into the data table. And then what can we do after that? We can export that data table and send it out to our entire team for the usage. Okay, this, guys, is nothing significant. It's just a random failures that I'm going to create so that I can show you how the StepFail function works, okay? So, that's it. Everything's explained. Let's go ahead and run it and see how everything works out. And I'm going to put a breakpoint there. F5 to run. Let me show you guys. Oh, sorry, I should have had the application open side by side. So anyways, you guys can see it entered the username. It entered my password, which is always constant. No big deal. Why change the password? But you guys see the username, right? It's random. Also, that username was added to my data table. And now, does this username contain the letter A? Yes. You guys can see that it does. So that means that the step will fail. So now we're going to enter into the StepFail function, and you guys will get to see what's going on in there. So first it's going to report the step name. This is what I decided to say. So look, the string contains letter A, and then I gave the username. Now it's going to create an image name. Let's check out the image name, which is fail underscore. It removed all of the spaces and then added the image name. Guys, this should be unique because you don't want your images to be overwritten. Next thing. So let's look at the storage path. You guys see we do have a / included. So then we're going to use this step. And now we're going to capture a screenshot. And this looks like this. Do you guys see this whole concatenation? So this entire screenshot is going to come here, okay? Look, it did it. Now fail. Look, failed. And the time that it failed. And now this, you guys want to see this value? This value, check it out. It's failed because it's coming from the function library. That's how awesome it is. Okay, now let's go check out the screenshot. Look at this path. I'm going to grab it from here, and I'm going to come over here. I'm going to paste it in there, and let's see. Give me a second. That's the problem. I did not create the folder. Give me a sec. Okay. Next one will definitely be saved. So anyways, let's continue. Let's run it through again, our function. You guys see that? It entered a new username. And I just realized one thing, one quick fix is we need to set the data table. Okay, awesome. Let's do it again. Run it. Okay, let's look at our username that's saved here. It does contain an A, so it's going to fail. I'm going to run through this real fast. Okay, now let's go see that failure. Now that I have the temp folder, I should have that image in there. There it is, guys. Do you see it? Capture the screenshot. And this contains an A. Okay, let's see it again. Let's look at our data table. This one does not contain an A. So it's going to pass. Check it out. If I want to do it again. That passes. That failed. Do you guys see that? Another printer printed. We're going to capture another result. Boom. There's another screenshot, and so on and so forth. And this function does everything for you. And now you have a beautiful print log. And then if we stop this, you guys will even see the results in the run results. Check it out. You guys see that? StepFail right there. It does this for you. And you can also step pass and so on and so forth. So that's the StepFail function and George's real-time use scenario. I hope that I made everything clear for you guys. And of course, if you guys got any more questions, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, our website, feel free to ask away. We will do our best to answer everybody. And if you guys liked what you saw, just remember to go and sign up for our mailing list on our website at www.qtptutorial.net. You get so many benefits by being subscribed to our website. First of all, you'll receive the top 5 tools that we use to enhance our automation careers. Then, you're going to receive our Function Fridays code in your inbox every Friday when the video comes out. So, if you're watching this video and you want all this code, you got to be signed up with our website to get it in your inbox so that you don't have to sit there and retype it. Also, you will get the latest news about upcoming webinars. Yes, we just had a webinar on Introduction to Automation Frameworks. And if you missed it, you may want to subscribe to our email. Finally, we have some exclusive VIP access coming up soon, and you guys won't want to miss out on this. And don't worry, we hate spam and we will not spam you. Everyone that's on our mailing list, I'm sure they can vouch for us that we don't send a ton of emails. We try to keep everybody from being bothered by us. We let you decide when you want to hear from us. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the special edition of Function Fridays. It was extremely exciting for me to do this today with Unified Functional Tester, this whole new concept. Let us know what you guys think. It's always a pleasure. Take care. Have a wonderful day. See you next time.